Well, yeah, there she's down there. She's first of all, she's quite a stunner, quite a beauty, and but luckily she's also like a pretty down-to-earth, pretty cool girl. So you know, you're always a little bit afraid that you're going to sort of work with somebody and they're going to be, you know, pretentious or difficult or, you know, wanting to be kind of behave like a prima donna and cause a lot of problems. And that was sort of the opposite of who Charlize was. She's willing to make fun of herself and, like, you know, not be pretty. I mean, and it's difficult for her not to be. She carries an enormous amount of beauty, makeup or no, but it was fun. It was a good time.
Now, John's mentioned the fact of the love scene. Was that your first ever love scene, full on?
Certainly my first Ewan McGregor style love scene. You know what I mean? It was heavy exposure, if you know what I'm saying. But so that's it was a little bit in the European tradition in that sense. We were not shy about our nudity in this love scene, and that was a first for me. But I feel like it made me stronger.
Can you tell us?
Were you a bit worried about it? How did you prepare for that?
Oh, you don't. I think you don't prepare for it. I mean, most actors you talk to say, "Oh, well, we just like had a couple of shots of, you know, drank some champagne or something." I can't do that because then I'd just be I'd fall apart. I think you don't. I think you try to just forget about it and concentrate on what you're supposed to be thinking about as opposed to all the other people around you. You know what I mean?
Can you tell us a little about the kind of guy that you play, Rudy? Who is he?
He's a guy he's a sort of an ex-con who isn't a violent criminal, isn't really a very rough guy, ended up sort of getting involved in something over his head. He was a car thief, he liked doing it, he thought it was fun. And he ended up in a place with a lot of really sort of rough, violent people, which was an experience so decidedly unpleasant that it made him never want to have to go back there again, so he decides to clean his life up. He's going to go straight. Of course, he comes out of jail, he's been carrying on this correspondence. He's really fallen in love through letters with Charlize's character, and through his relationship he gets drawn back into a world which he was desperately trying to avoid. How was that for a synopsis?
Wow. Since we're a few weeks away from the Oscar, I'd like to know what's the impact of an Oscar since you got
I think probably the Oscars, I mean, I think the chief impact of the Oscars is that they're probably the most well-publicized award in the world, you know. I mean, I think unfortunately in some ways more people can name, you know, last year's Oscar winner than they can the National Book Award winner or, you know, the Nobel Prize winner for physics. You know, I can't even name the Nobel Prize winner for, actually the Nobel's, or the, what's the math one called? Fields Medal, the Fields Medal winners. You know, the chief impact of it is that it tends to draw an enormous amount of publicity, which, you know, of course changes the person being publicized, changes their life, you know. So most of the impact I think it has is on the lives of the people who are nominated and who win. But you know, it can be a wonderful, great thing. It's a wonderful honor, and it's the highest honor, you know, in the movie business, and it's a terrific thing. And you know, it's a particularly great year for movies this year.